Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another review from the Scene Snobs. And we check out new movies each week, and we let you know what we think about them, and we'd love for you to be a part of it and comment along. But if you haven't seen them, go check out the movies and come back, because this is a spoiler show. Today, we checked out Arbor Day, Root of Evil, new horror movie coming out of Jersey and the independent circuit. We had a really good time with it. It's directed by Michael Jine, John Johnson, Carrie Lynn's Mutt Kittrick. I'm so sorry. Brooke Mulkins, Joe Raffa, and Justin Timpane, and starring Joe Raffa and Jason Allen Cook, and so many more. This is a story that involves a killer that is in the woods of New Jersey in Mays Landing, and he comes out and he kills only on Arbor Day. And if you're in those forests on Arbor Day, he's coming after you. This is a series of stories about different killings that happen throughout time based on this killer. All right, Casey, we got a chance. We got a screener to check this one out. Like I said, it's making the circuit rounds in the film festival. It's circuiting the rounds in the film festival and whatnot. I'd love to know, what did you think stepping into this, and did you have any expectation when you went?
So walking into Arbor Day, I definitely, the root of evil. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I was kind of expecting traditional slash, just a good old fashioned, especially with that intro that they do. It's taking place in Jersey, so obviously something terrible is going to happen because nothing good happens.
Shut your
Jersey.
mouth.
It's just a nightmare hell of awful things and terrible. Like the fact that the devil decided to take up root in Jersey tells you everything you need to know. So
you know what it was? He wanted the protection. He lost the last fight. He was like, I'm just going to chill in Jersey. They'll protect me. Fine.
Well, yeah, because he lost in Georgia, so he wound up in Jersey. That actually completely makes sense.
I was thinking the fight for heaven, but whatever.
No, because he traveled around, obviously. I mean, we've got some great versions of him in Europe. He went down to Georgia, and then he was like, you know what? I'm just, during these normal days, during this new this era of the 70s, that's pretty sure when he came up, somewhere in the 60s or 70s, and he was responsible for disco, obviously.
He gave that golden fiddle to little Johnny and was like,
and then he was like, I'm changing music.
It's Jersey going that. It's all about the boss now.
Yep. I mean, he gave us Bon Jovi, so that's great. He gave us Springsteen, so that's something.
Heaven gave us Bon Jovi. You better shut up.
So only the battle, the devil being in Jersey. So the movie itself, though, back to the Arbor Day, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like I said, I was expecting something a little more formulaic, a little more average. I got something pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed the way they did the vignette stories, the way they broke up, with the main story being what it was, and then having all the pieces being told along the way, the tales, as it were. And I think more movies should do this. This reminded me of sitting around and getting a campfire experience, of actually being able to tell a story in a different way, a la Memento, just giving something different to a similar style that we've all known. We know the formula. We know what to expect. And they even took it a step further with some really impressive vignettes where I was excited to see some of the people killed, not just, oh, look at these wacky college kids who are here. Okay, whatever. We're going to have that experience. But we got some good stuff. I enjoyed the way they swapped it up like that.
I love how you put that, and I couldn't agree more. Like, I did walk into this thinking, okay, this is probably gonna be more formulaic, and in some instances it is. And
sure,
I will say that the vignettes that are in it are very well have a good foundation, and they're built on really well. I think my biggest issue is the overall storyline. Is that there's like a fear that's supposed to be built in these stories being told to this father who wants to go camping, and as you're going, and he has a young daughter with him to go camping with, I feel like you didn't really get to emotionally connect to those characters.
True, yeah. He never grew or changed. And the guy telling the stories also struggled a little bit. There were parts that I felt like he could have, I don't know, there was some little bit of inflection that was required, and neither one of them, they were too stoic for my liking. And I also question, like, at some point you have to go, all right, if you're the dad of this little girl, do you really want to bring her to a place where the supposed stories are all about murder? Like, because there's a lot of, like, it feels like it's a poor choice. So I struggled with the reasoning behind getting there. I feel like they could have, that was the biggest part, was, you're right, tying it all together in that line with some really fantastic vignettes, some pretty okay vignettes, and then some less than great vignettes. But all the stories, that single thread that's supposed to be tracking it all together, struggled, and that part hurt overall for me.
Yeah, and again, I liked the idea of it and what was going into it, but again, the stakes just felt like you're just going camping for the day there anyway, and it's the one day that you're not allowed to camp there.
Right.
So it's to me that's like you're not building on the stakes, and even if like why does it need to get there? If they had something, I'm not saying you needed to do this or that. It could have been something as simple as like he promised her this is all she wanted. She wants to plant a tree for Arbor Day in the forest that she loves or whatever, and like or something like that, just to add some context that you're like, okay, fine. And then I never even have to hear the daughter's voice or anything like that because you really don't. Like she's just mostly asleep during the whole thing. But like he's like frantic, like maybe he's a single dad trying to get in, do something for his daughter, and like it just eats at him or something. Like just to add sort of some depth to it. Otherwise, like I didn't mind the interaction of it. It just felt like very low stakes. Like listen, you can't go in on Arbor Day. Do it the next day.
Yeah, and honestly, that should have been enough. Like there was never enough of a urgency for me to care about why they had to get in there.
Yeah,
it was almost like he was just being an annoying dude, an entitled prick who I'm like, well, then just die.
Yeah,
and we do get that.
I do. I really did enjoy the vignettes that they're coming into where he's telling these stories and then they cut into them. My only thing with that is there were some that were more ridiculous than others. Like the one guy is carrying his wife's dead body into the forest to get rid of it, but it's really a Christmas tree that she loves,
which I actually loved. I loved that part.
It was funny. I laughed.
Hilarious.
I liked it. I just didn't love it. I'm like, it was a funny, but it was a bit that was turned into a story.
Sure.
And that for me is like you had to throw this Christmas tree out on Arbor Day. Like, I mean, and the irony's not lost on me. I get it.
The idea that does anything have to happen on Arbor Day? Like I push for ridiculous, fun horror movies for there has to be an every season sort of movie to throw on. But the urgency to create urgency for Arbor Day, for something to have to happen, like. This guy losing his mind and being pissed at his wife actually played. That I can understand. That's why I'm still single. Because I'm like, I don't want to be that upset ever. I haven't met the person who makes me want to be that upset ever. That's what I'm waiting.
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned it because I realized as we're having this discussion, I'm like, when is Arbor Day?
Yeah.
and let me, before I say it, do you know what date Arbor Day is?
It is no idea. April 11th or April 15th?
You were closer than I was when I was like, 12th? What is Arbor Day? It's April 30th.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I don't know if that changes every year.
I don't know either.
I assume, but I remember April, like Earth Day. I remember Arbor Day.
Earth Day?
No way. It's 21st or something like that. But even then, I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 75% sure that Earth Day is on the 21st. And I'm probably wrong. But and I'm not trying to knock on Arbor Day. Like I like the idea. It puts the guy in the forest. But did we ever get a definitive background on why he kills only on Arbor Day?
Because that's when he was murdered because he wanted to do the culling. There's a whole story about when he was wrapped up and murdered, and then but
they don't really touch down on that story in a viewing sense.
Well, no, they don't, and I think that hurts it a little bit. I think one vignette to how we got to the killer, and then all of the rest of the stories would have been neat. I think like I said, there's little things that could be tweaked, and I promise you, whatever you view, when we give our ratings here, it does not mean that I don't think there should be an Arbor Day 2, because I think doing these vignette style movies they're some of my favorites. VHS, all of
ABC's
these stories are great. Yes, which are wonderful. So I feel like this fits a mold that exists that I love. So I think more of this should be done. I really did enjoy it for the sake of what it was. Yeah, it came across great.
Do a sequel. Do the vignettes. Maybe touch down with actually watching the killer in his first foray, like when he gets killed. But if you do, just like, again, I get bringing in so many directors and there's different voices and they're writing the different things. And like, again, I liked most of them. Like with the one with you were talking about earlier, the woman where she had been raped in the forest by the guy, and like she brought him back out there to throw it in his face and ultimately take her revenge, and I don't blame her.
Yeah, which was done wonderfully.
So deep.
The actual writing there and the acting was compelling. Like they really nailed that. There were certain vignettes that stood far above the others, which happens in every vignette series. the one with the men attacking the woman as she runs into the woods for protection.
Mm-hmm.
The whole premise behind the attack is ridiculous and kind of annoying because
she just loves trees, and and she's trying to save them on Arbor Day, and these guys, like, it was cartoonish in some ways, and I think that's the horror side of it. I'm like, they did a good job consistently filming it so it looks interesting, and the killer is very much the same in every single one. Like, we're not getting him being zany at all. It really was just one of those things where, like, they do get better as they go.
Yeah,
it's the weakest one is is maybe the first one, and then the second one where they chase the girl, and then the one with the brothers. That was pretty deep in certain areas and stuff. Like, I wish there was more context to some of these.
Yeah, a little extra 1 or 2 lines. I feel like there were a few spots where if they could have pushed a little bit more and given us a little more story. Kind of was also the struggle with the main line. We didn't get growth in a lot of them. Some of them were straight up, hey, we want to kill some people and have some cool effect, and we got it. We got some decent stuff.
You're never going to win me over with that, though. You can do it, but if there's not something, if you're not giving me a story or character development that I can latch onto and really care about this, that's going to be my issue. And I think when you do vignettes, you have to rush. Well, you don't have to, but I feel like most do. And I'm talking about in the top form, like we're talking about VHS and such. They do too, because they try to cram so much in there as they can. This felt like it flowed well. I didn't mind the 4 vignettes around the backdrop of the main storyline, but it just felt like you were not developing the characters as much as you were trying to get to the killer. And except that last one.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last 2 for me, because I also like the college kid when they get murdered. They did a much more traditional style, and I'm glad they gave me that.
That's fair. And that was really very traditional. Yeah.
Yes, and it was done well. You know what I mean? There was nothing there. I have no complaints, no notes.
Not 4. There was 5.
Yeah. So the 4th one was the one I really loved. The second one with the man and his Christmas tree wife dead body was fantastic for being as absurd as it was, being the silly. There were the other ones, the first and the third were the ones that I was like,
It was, yeah, it was just one of those things where, like, I really wish some of them, like, maybe these directors and writers had gotten together, which they clearly were together because they all, worked pretty seemingly heavily on the film, and just been like, all right, what are we missing in these characters?
That's fair. Yeah, that's absolutely a fair. But I mean, you and I are so big on character development that it's important. It is vitally important to us.
Well, no, it should be important to everybody.
It should be
story
important
and
to
character
everyone,
development.
that's what creates
number 1, number 2.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Movie making escapades.
The character development in the last vignette was perfect because it wasn't just not really character development as much as story unfold. What we get to learn through their story and through her soliloquy. So it was done really well.
Compared to another review that we did for The Devil's Mouth, like, that's another one that's a huge budget movie that is out on Amazon, has all this backing, no character development. None whatsoever. This did. In all of them, it was just some of them had a bit of shallowness to them that I felt like if I can see the talent in all the vignettes. So it's not like I'm looking at and 26 years in filmmaking. So, like, when I say it, I'm not saying it from a point of view of like some goober who's on TikTok. I'm saying this like I see the talent in every one of this vignettes, in the acting, in the directing, in the cinematography, all of them. I just wish in the writing it was like, I want to focus on these characters rather than the main character, which is the killer.
Yeah, agreed. And they made the killer such the focal point that it did hurt that mainline story that was tying everything together. I think that's where you and I agree heavily, should have been one of the stronger points that, unfortunately, that weakness created a movie that I'm like, it's a good thing you had some strong vignettes in there. And
they did. And first of all, that opening with the, like, again, and we talked about it earlier with the, between us, because, like, it reminded me of, like, I've been all those places on my ghost hunts. And that was just my adventures as Tina Devil's Tree, all this other stuff, like everything else. Like, it was very cool to kind of reminisce in that and think about the friends that, like, I've been on these things with and these cryptid hunts and whatnot. And we talked about the devil earlier. And
a lot of the devil. Yep. But yeah, the podcast idea was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So all in all, this was pretty enjoyable movie. So what do you got for your rating, man?
Well, actually, before the rating, which you'll have to see on Patreon, because I want to talk about that ending.
All right, we're going to be discussing the ending, which means we have to stop now because we have been requested to not discuss this ending. Therefore, to hear us discuss this ending, you have to cruise on over to Patreon. You click in there, you go ahead and decide what you want to give us from the entertainment we've given you, and we'll be able to fill you in on the rest of this movie.
That's right. But if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to go check out Arbor Day. All right, Casey, now's the time. I need to know your rating for this movie overall. What do you have for it?
So for me, I give this one a 2.5 out of 5 because some of the vignettes that were played great. For being an independent film, it automatically goes up, and it hits a different scale because it needs to be able to bring me in and give me character development. And a lot of the vignettes did at least give me a good story. It was a nice campfire storytelling. And as we've discussed, the ending unfortunately hurt it for me in a big way, but they did have a compelling killer and a compelling historical backstory. So, and anybody showing a lot of good murder in Jersey, well, that's just honest.
You really do love the murder in Jersey. And
oh man, best place to kill them.
I'm going to agree with you. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's a really ambitious project for an independent film, especially with no distribution, and that's not a knock against the movie at all. Like, they're bringing it around themselves, and I think that's a smart way of doing things in today's film industry, and the way they're going about it. Like, it earns a good solid 2.5 out of 5 for me. I think it's worth everybody checking out. If you're a horror fan, you're going to enjoy it. The killer looks sick. He's fun. There's some good kills in it. And the characters, as far as it goes, even if you like them or you don't, how they're written, they interact with the main killer well. So I have to give them that credit. And it looks good. It's a good looking film.
Oh, yeah. Shot very well. I did enjoy the camera angles were used well. They did a good job all around from that perspective.
So that's us. We said 2.5 out of 5. Both of us. We're in agreement with this one. We'd love to know what you guys think in the comments. Sound off and let us know. And if you ever want to check out more of our new movie reviews, old reviews, our discussions, our podcasts, and everything else in between, go over and subscribe to the channel after giving this video a like. We truly appreciate it. We'd love for you to be a part of the Snob Nation because we love movies and we know you do too. So also follow us at the Scene Snobs all over social media where we are, and over on Patreon. We have a free tier where you can follow up and get updates, movie reviews, and things like that there. Or we have paid perks as well, and join one of those tiers, and you're going to have a really good time with it. And we're going to have fun with you being a part of it, and we always try to make it a good time for everybody. Until next time, everybody, I'm Mick Manhattan, joined by Casey the Madman Plot. But until next time, make sure you take care of yourselves like the man says, and make sure you be kind, rewind, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Just wrapping up my podcast.